isn't known for sports highlights, and we will keep it that way. In the year of our Lord, 2025, the Super Bowl has become more than just the most important American football game of the year. It's a chance to call the halftime show the worst in history, no matter who steps on that field. But before we get into all the reasons people hated the halftime show, or even why Taylor Swift was booed by the whole stadium, who even won the game? Did the Chiefs get that third win in a row? Sorry to report that is a big no. Actually, apparently, they were playing their worst. Here's the thing, I'm not gonna stand here and lie to y'all, thou shalt not lie and all that, right? I'm not a football stan. I think it's neat, but the difference between somebody playing well and someone literally dropping the ball is not something that I can pick up on. Happy to report though, I am smart enough to understand numbers, and 40-22? That's rough, buddy. And here's the thing, it became pretty clear early on that the Chiefs might not be taking the win. The first half of the game saw the Eagles with a 24-point lead on the Chiefs as they had no points. Things picked up for the team in the third quarter with the Chiefs at 6, but then the Eagles added 10. The Chiefs got more points in the last quarter with 16 added for their final total of 22. Only the Eagles got 6 more points for their winning score of 40. The reason it would have been such a big deal for the Chiefs to win this year in particular is because it would have been their third time in a row, and apparently that's never happened before. Nicknamed a three-peat, many teams have come close, but none have succeeded in winning the big game 3 years in a row. I mean, 2 years in a row is still pretty impressive, but no records have been broken. But you might be wondering, what does Taylor Swift think about all this? Leading up to the game, she was a topic of interest as many people were speculating that her and boyfriend Travis Kelce were going to get engaged at or after the game. That didn't happen. The Chiefs lost, and now lots of people are joking that Swift is going to dump Travis because he lost a game. And that's how relationships work, obviously. But Swift was going to win no matter the outcome of the game because she's a fan of the Chiefs and the Eagles. The Chiefs because of her boyfriend, of course, but she has been an Eagles fan. A track from her 2020 album, Evermore, Gold Rush, features the lyrics, "With my Eagles t-shirt hanging from the door." I'm sure that she wanted the Chiefs to win because she has a very personal connection to the team now, but no matter the outcome, part of her is a winner. Although the Super Bowl crowd did everything in their power to make Swift feel like a loser. A video went viral online of Swift being shown on the Jumbotron to lots of boos. The stadium was passionately booing the music artist. People are speculating about why it happened, and there's lots of theories. For those immersed in celebrity culture, they're saying it's because of the Blake Lively-Ryan Reynolds drama. Lively was at the Super Bowl with Swift last year, but absent this time around. Those immersed in the sports world say that it happened because Swift was simply there supporting the Chiefs when they were playing on Eagles' home turf. And it's common practice to boo those cheering for the other side. But some say it was because of her political beliefs. Some say it's because she's a billionaire. Some say they are just sick of seeing her. Personally, going to take a shot in the dark and say it was probably a mix of all of them. Although, Swifties aren't worried about it. Taylor Swift sold out that very stadium 3 times over for her Eras tour, so they're not stressed. Speaking of Swifties, they got a fun surprise out of the incident. Taylor's shocked response to the booing was her side-eyeing the screen and then looking forward. So now we have a new pop culture reaction image. She looked a lot like that puppet meme of the monkey looking to the side. It's actually hilarious. She of course did shake off the criticism and enjoyed the game as best she could after. Something that didn't actually make the air but went viral online, during the halftime show, a protester did run onto the field with a flag. They were removed by security as seen in videos online. It makes sense that someone might take this event to promote change, as it is not only the most watched sports event of the year, the current US president was also there for the first time. Of course, we have to chat about the thing that happens every year, the halftime show, and how much people hated it. No matter who is performing, there is always someone out there saying it wasn't good enough or boring. It seems like the experience watching the halftime show was different depending on where you watched it from, your home or the stadium itself. Clips went viral of the fans in the stadium because they weren't giving much. Lots of people were sitting, not dancing, just kind of doing the vibing step touch or bop of the head to the beat thing. People were saying that this was the mark of a failed performance, a lack of crowd excitement. Although, I would argue the energy for Not Like Us made up for anything that came before it. Whole stadium was screaming the diss track about Drake. I simply would never leave the house again if I were Drake. After the Grammys and now the Super Bowl, no. Although Drake did respond to the events of the Grammys with his wardrobe choices at recent performances. He appeared on stage in a hoodie littered with holes with smoke coming out of them because shots fired, right? Yeah, he was called corny in multiple creative ways for that one, but the stage effects were really cool. But I'm anxious to see how he responds to the Super Bowl. But back to that halftime show, I mean, yeah, of course people aren't going to be vibing to the whole show the way they did Katy Perry or Rihanna or Lady Gaga, and that's because rap music just has a lot of words and is very different from a pop song like California Girls or Born This Way. Kendrick is a fantastic artist and very talented with the pen, but he does have a specific audience. The hooks of his songs are very popular and everybody knows A minor, it's like a battle cry at this point, but everything in between, if you don't know the lyrics, you are just there for the vibes. They were good vibes, I watched it and I had a great time. He played some of his biggest hits like Humble and of course the now Grammy award-winning track Not Like Us. He even surprised the crowd with a performance by SZA in which the pair sang Luther and all the stars from the Black Panther soundtrack. Samuel L. Jackson appeared as Uncle Sam throughout the performance. Serena Williams was a welcome surprise to viewers, dancing on the side, but one cameo stood out: Mustard. Lamar brought out his producer Mustard to a very passionate yell of his professional name. And if you know, you know, but if you don't, all of a sudden Kendrick Lamar is screaming the word mustard very long and without context. That would be confusing and funny. At home, sure, we get a clear view that a new person has hopped on the stage, and using critical thinking skills we can deduce that this man must be Mustard, but imagine being at the stadium if you don't catch that a new person is there amidst all the dancers. Lamar screaming mustard would seem very strange. But even from an at-home standpoint, if you aren't a fan of Kendrick Lamar, you probably don't know who Mustard is, so he really is just a guy dancing on the stage. He didn't sing or rap with Kendrick, he just kind of vibed. I will admit, before my Google search, that I thought maybe he was like a big fan or one of the players on the team or something, but it's really sweet that Lamar gave credit where credit was due. Mustard has done a lot to help Kendrick produce some great songs. He deserves a stadium full of people cheering him on. Lamar did take a risk with his performance though. That might be the reason behind many people saying they didn't enjoy the show as much as previous years. He put a lot of focus on his new album, GMX. About half the halftime show was his newer material. The album is less than 4 months old, so unless you're a huge Kendrick Lamar superfan, you're probably not gonna know a lot of the songs and the words. He also opened his performance with a teaser for a brand new song, unreleased, so nobody knew the words to that. As someone on Twitter pointed out, this was a big risk as the halftime show usually relies on nostalgia to get the crowd going, and you could tell when the crowd knew a song and when they didn't. However, that doesn't mean Kendrick was performing poorly, he was putting on a great show, but the dancing one does to Humble or Man at the Garden is just different from that of Single Ladies. But speaking of dancing, the dancers deserve a shout out because they were doing an awesome job. The whole setup of the performance was great. Lamar's stage was like a big PlayStation game controller. He even ended his set with Game Over, play on the fact that we were at a football game, but the design choice was later explained by halftime show art director Shelley Rogers. She said it was a performance intended to portray Lamar's life as a video game. It also looks cool, but that's not an official statement, that's just my opinion. But what do you think? Let us know, and if you want more celebrity content, check out the rest of the channel, and for the sports highlights, I don't know, try ESPN or something. Thanks for tuning in. Bye!